Hello and welcome to the Shake It Up Show, the show that looks at all things Bury AFC. I'm your host, Nick Zabel, and joining me today is a rival manager. Well, I say rival, they're in the league above, but you know what I mean. It is Luke Evans. Luke is the manager of Squires Gate. We played them earlier on last season in a mid-season friendly, which we won 6-0. But I'm sure Luke has got a few views on that game, and he's also going to give us his rough guide into the Northwest Counties and what things we can look forward to as fans of Bury AFC. So without any further ado, please welcome Luke Evans. Hello, Luke. How are you?
Hi, Nick. You okay?
How are you, mate? You okay? How have you been over the last couple of months? What have you been up to? What have you been doing?
Not too much really. I mean, like everybody else, I've been in the house. I've got a 4-year-old and a 12-year-old, so a bit of homeschooling. I tend to help the 4-year-old, so it's a little bit easier, and let me missus concentrate on the older one.
What's your specialist subject? If you had to help out, what would your specialist subject be?
I think at this stage with a 4-year-old, I'm quite comfortable with the spelling because we're not over about 3 letters at the moment.
So it's cat, mat, sat.
Yeah, that's the one, mate. That's the one. Brilliant.
So I've just been kind of flicking through social media and stuff over the last couple of weeks and through Squires. Just so people who just tune in, this is Luke. He's Luke Evans. He's the manager of Squires Gate. So yeah, Squires Gate have just started playing again. Is that right?
Yeah. So we brought the boys back in for training last Tuesday. Again, you know, it's a strange situation for us all at the minute with, you know, knowing what to do. And, you know, the gap between playing on Boxing Day and going all the way through to the 31st of July is so long. So we made the decision to come back into training. So we're just training a couple of times a week. And we've arranged a couple of friendlies to see us through the next few weeks. So we played a game against Padiham on Saturday, just gone. And again, it was just a good run out for their lads. Great to see everybody back and great to have a little bit of a meaningful, you know, kickabout. They're always good games with Padiham. So, yeah, really enjoyed it.
I suppose it's a bit uncharted territory, really, isn't it? Because, you know, normally you'd go from a pre-season scenario where you build all the fitness up into kind of friendlies and then into the season, where in this kind of, it's been so disjointed in what's happened. You know, you've not played since December, and now we're into April, so that must be quite hard. And I suppose a lot of thought has to go into, you know, not building, not putting any pressure on the bodies, strength and condition, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we got a little bit of a trial run at it last time when we had such a long pre-season. But for us personally, I mean, we ended up playing 11 games pre-season before we actually came into the season. So, you know, that's a third of our season normally. And we found that when we did come back to playing, we, you know, a little bit footballed out. So it's, like you say, it's trying to get the balance right now, which is the most important thing for us. So we've decided for this one that we'll just come back and we're like treading water a little bit to finish off what would have been the season. And then, like I said before, we're going to stop off around about the 1st of May and have a few weeks off until we come back probably second week of June.
So you're just trying to almost replicate roughly what the season, where the season would have ended and go from there, really?
Pretty much, that's it. Yeah, like I said, obviously there was no way on earth that we were going to get 30 league games played within, you know, the period of time that we were given. So, like I said, we're just going to try and keep it as normal as possible. We're not playing any midweek games. We're just playing a few Saturdays up until the end of the month and just keep everybody ticking over, like I said. And then we'll let everybody hopefully enjoy the beer gardens for a couple of weeks before we have them back in for a tough pre-season.
Brilliant. So, Luke, just tell us a little bit about your football journey. I know you're a bit of a veteran around the Northwest Counties leagues. I know you've been at a few clubs, but tell us where you kind of started and how you kind of got into the position that you're in now.
Well, for me, I mean, I didn't have a great football career or anything like that. I got quite a bad injury when I was 24. I broke both my legs playing football. And so I was never going to be a top player or anything like that. So I started to look around the coaching side of things and what I wanted to get into. I took on a couple of roles within the West Lancs League, which is step 7 of the football pyramid. And then I slowly realised that I wanted to try and see how far I could get with all of this. So I thought, what's the best way to do it? So I contacted Ashton Athletic, who are in the step 5 division. And I applied for their role as the development squad manager. And as I got into it with them, I got on with the managers, Ben Kay, Dougie Pitts and Jay Folds really well. They invited me into the first team setup. And basically that was the first time I'd had the opportunity to go into a dressing room really as a manager stroke coach and get a feel for what it's all about. And I think that's pretty much how my journey has been. I've thought, right, I need to learn a little bit, and then I take little bits off everybody that I've learned or seen before, and then create my own style around it. So like I said, the guys at Ashton were absolutely brilliant to me, letting me be involved on first team match days and all the rest of it. And I just felt like I was learning so much and really enjoyed my time there. And then I moved on and I took the reserve team manager's job at Lancaster City, up in step 3, which again was, great to be around what is a big club in the non-league pyramid, seeing how it all works, being there on a match day, watching the first team, seeing how they go about doing it. And again, just being a sponge and just, absorbing every little bit of information I could get. I would go and watch Phil Brown, his training sessions, and try and pick up little bits and pieces off that. And then again, just keep developing myself, my own style. I decided to leave Lancaster at the end of the season, and I applied for the job over at AFC Darwen in the Northwest Counties, who are obviously in the same league as yourselves. And as soon as I met Kenny Langford over there, he was absolutely brilliant. We just spoke the same language. We knew, we were going to be, a good little team together and bounce off each other. And they gave me my first opportunity to be first team manager in the Northwest Counties. And, I really enjoyed it. I loved every second of it. And, it was just a case of cutting my teeth and having Kenny alongside me, he'd been managing for a long time. He had loads of different things. And he'd give me a little bit of a rein and say, go on, do what you want to do. And then at the same time, he'd be like, this is how you react in this situation. Yeah. So even though I was doing it myself, I still was learning because he was alongside me the whole time, which was great. And, I can't thank Kenny and Sarah enough for what they gave to me. During my second season at Darwen, I felt like, again, it was a little bit of, I could see myself, thinking maybe I took it as far as I could take it. And maybe it needed a fresh set of eyes on the players. I felt like we were going around a little bit in circles. We hadn't started the league season great. And then as I was umming and ahhing as to where I wanted to be, I got contacted by Squires Gate. They approached Darwen to see if they could speak to me. Obviously, Squires Gate is on my doorstep in Blackpool. So after meeting the chairman and the secretary, I decided to take the job. And again, I knew by coming home, it was, because as you can see, by being at Ashton and Lancaster and Darwen, I've never managed in my hometown at this level. And so it was a big thing for me to come back because I knew there'd be a few more eyes on me and, family would start coming to games and friends and everything else. And so you start to see people that walking around the streets who actually walk through the door and they're interested in your journey. And, I think the only time I'd been in the local newspaper was probably for like my birthday when I was 8 or 9. But all of a sudden I'm on the second to last pages in the sports with pictures of myself every week. But no, it was, I think it was very much like a coming home type thing for me. And that was what drew me to the job more than anything. The club was in a difficult position at the time on the pitch. But again, like with everything, you believe in yourself and you think you can turn things around. And took a few games to get started. But after that, we went on a great little run. And I think we finished around 10th when it actually got curtailed. And when we took it over, the club were second or joint bottom of the league. So we'd shown a lot of progression. And pretty much takes us up to current day.
It's a bit of there's so many clubs in Blackpool, isn't there? The little clubs like, and obviously you got the big boys just down the road, Bloomfield Road. But has there been a lot of movement of fans with the stuff that's gone on at Blackpool Football Club? Is there a lot of people that have drifted into non-league and started watching a lot of non-league teams?
I think obviously what's happened to Blackpool has affected everybody initially, because you've got 8,000 or 9,000 fans who all of a sudden haven't got anywhere to go. So I think they've slowly dispersed into different clubs. I think quite a few went down the road to Fleetwood and started watching them, and I think they were quite fortunate in some sense that they've got a up and coming other league club to go and watch that standard of football. I know that, our neighbours, AFC Blackpool, they obviously got a good support from the Blackpool fans. And then ourselves as well, we've got a great relationship with the Blackpool fans. And I think one of the things that's come good about it all, now that the Blackpool fans were back in until the COVID struck, we've been able to maintain that relationship with the fans, and they've realised that there are other clubs in the area. So it's good to see that ourselves, AFC Blackpool, Rem Rovers next door, the crowds are definitely bigger than they were. And, everybody has these stigmas regarding rivalries and all the rest of it. But, we're all just trying to survive. We're all just trying to keep going as clubs. And I, for one, I'm not that sort of guy. I can't see our two sets of fans meeting up in car parks and things like that. I think as far as the rivalry goes, I think it would just be a 90-minute game whenever we meet, and that would be as far as it goes. I wish all the clubs around the Fylde Coast all the best, and it's good to see, little clubs like ourselves doing those little extra bits, see managers jumping on mowers and cutting the pitch and rolling it, like I've just started to learn to do myself, because you realise there isn't any volunteers anymore. It's very much, it's a labour of love, isn't it? If you're in it, you're in it, and if you're not, then you just choose something else to do on a Saturday.
I know when we came down to Squires Gate in December, the Bury AFC, I know there's only a small few of us that were allowed in, but it really felt like a really nice, friendly family environment there. And not, like I say, there's only a few people in, but from the lady who was in the little shack with the dog serving the teas and coffees, it was lovely. It was a really nice a nice day out for us. Sound like a bunch of old people there, don't we? It was a nice day out for them, but let send them back to Bury. But it was a good day out. We really enjoyed it, and I know that there's a good relationship off the pitch between our two clubs. Anyway, I know that there's a lot of banter that flies around on social media and stuff, so that's quite nice that there's that little connection, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, I think, we don't really vet the volunteers when they come in. I think we just get lucky at times. We've got some great people around the club, some who've been there for a long period of time, and some who just new who come in and help us out when they can. Obviously, as you know, people can't always commit as they used to. Everybody's got so much going on. But it's just a welcoming place to be. And I felt that as a manager when I came through the door. And to be honest with you, it spurs you on. It makes you want to put smiles on people's faces. Our club secretary, John Maguire, he's into 40 plus years now. Groundsman, Brian Addison, he's 83. And these are the sorts of guys that I'd say to the players, don't just do it for me. Don't just do it for yourselves. Do it for all these people as well, And you see them, they just give the lads a little pat on the back and a smile on their face after they've won a game. You don't realise, lads, you're making these lads weekend, normally the whole week. And then they'll push the mower a little bit harder on a Saturday morning before the game.
Fantastic. I think that's a nice thing about the leagues that we're in, is this sense of community and fans coming together. And it, like you've just said, there's not really any room for rivalry. It's more kind of like we're all in it together, 90 minutes on the pitch, and we'll all have a beer afterwards. So just going back to December, I don't know if you remember the game, Luke. It was quite a hell of a win for Bury on that day. Talk us a little bit about the game and what your thoughts were of the club.
Well, I'd love to tell you, Nick, that I couldn't remember the game, but unfortunately I can. And obviously, I'm very much into the filming of the games and analysing and seeing where we've gone wrong. So, unfortunately, I did watch it back a couple of times as well. But yeah, no, listen, we really enjoyed, having the game and putting it on. We're not fearful of anybody. We knew what we were going to expect. We knew what Bury brings, and we know that obviously, the fanfare behind the club is fantastic, and we know that in order to have that sort of exposure as a club, you need to have a team on the pitch as well. And we knew what we were getting into by playing the game. And like I said, we came out and we enjoyed it, and we approached it like we do every other friendly. We needed to tune up ourselves. We'd been playing well to that point, and we knew what you guys were going to bring. And so we went out as we normally do, and we had a set plan to play players for a certain amount of minutes, and we stuck to that. Unfortunately, it didn't go great for us. We're at the end of the day, I think we didn't take our chances on the day, and you boys did. And if you watch a game of football, there's normally about 10 chances each, and I think we got 0 of our 10, and you guys got 5 or 6 of yours, which was great. But I think the big thing for me was, I liked watching the Bury team. I liked the fact of you can see the formation of a club, not just a team. I think when a manager comes into a football club, he has his own way of trying to play, and everybody says, "Oh, this isn't the Squires Gate way, or this isn't the Bury way." And with Bury AFC, there isn't a way at the minute. It's all just being formulated, and at the moment, it's Andy Welsh's way of how it's going to go. But somewhere down the line, it might be someone else's ideas and where it's going to go. And it's good to see these things moving and progressing. And I think that's the most important thing. But it's even though it's a young club, it's a new club, it still had a very professional feel about it and trying to do things right. And I think that's one of the main things I've tried to instill into the football club since I've come in, is do things the right way. If you've got to, do a sponsored bike ride to get that extra couple of quid to get the right training gear or whatever, then let's do it. Let's do it together. Let's not just scrimp and save it here and there. Let's try and get the best of the best. And I think, everything's achievable. The best stuff is achievable, not just gear, but everything all over the place. If you have a strength and conditioning coach, or, even at Squires Gate, where, we don't have a budget to speak of, but we've got a goalkeeper coach because we feel that they need that specialist coaching. They don't just need me shouting at them when they kick the ball out of play. They need that specialist training week in, week out. And, we concentrate on, my assistant manager and myself, we concentrate on the coaching. Everybody has a role on a match day so that everything's all set out. And again, it's just doing things the right way. And I got that feel about the Bury side when they came to us.
Is there any players that you're familiar with? So I don't know if there was any that played on that day, or just even flicking through kind of like results on social media. Is there any players that you're familiar with at all, Luke?
Yeah, I mean, we know, obviously we know some of the players from playing, most of them playing up at a higher level and dropping down. Obviously the striker, Tom Greaves, we know about him. We've seen him put goals in everywhere he's been. And again, it's great to see dropping in at this level and making a difference. That's what it's all about. You don't just turn up for a kick around, come in, make a difference and prove that you are that level of player, and you are just, taking part in a project, taking part in a journey. And, you haven't joined the pyramid to stay in the league that you're in, so, these players are dropping down and they want to be part of something. It's exciting, and, push on and make a difference.
So, as I say, you're a veteran of the leagues. You've been at Darwen and you've been at Lancaster, a bit further up, and so you've been around a little bit, and obviously at Squires Gate now. Tell us a little bit about, for the Bury fans out there, that we've only seen a little bit of North West Counties football. So, tell us a little bit about the North West Counties leagues. What can we expect? Is there any grounds, or is there any hidden gems out there that we can look forward to seeing over the next couple of years? Any special areas, any teams that we need to look out for? Give us your rough guide to kind of like the Northwest Counties.
Yeah, I mean, the Northwest Counties is a fantastic league. And for me, it's a very unpredictable league. you very rarely have the same teams at the bottom each year and the same teams at the top. It's more a case of, who's having a goal that year, and there's the consistent teams, but obviously, you've just got to go and embrace it. And there's so many great little places to go. You've got Bacup Borough, which is they've got the great quirky little ground there, and Brent Peters is doing a fantastic job with that club. You've got, like I said, at my previous club, AFC Darwen, they've got the 4G pitch installed there, and it's just, the facilities there are amazing. You go into the bar after the game, it's like a wine bar. It's fantastic. I think I used to finish games there at Darwen at about 5:15. I think I used to get home about midnight every week. It was.
I'll get a taxi book for that one then.
Exactly.
I won't drive to that one.
Yeah, if you arrange it for a Wednesday night, I'll join you. But no, I think that's what's so great. Like we just touched on before about the non-league football. Every single place that you go to has got its own little bit of character, and it's got its own. That's what makes non-league football what it is. And I think when you're in the higher leagues, when you're in the football league, they tend to be a much of a muchness. There's not an awful lot of character to the grounds anymore, because the majority of them are all seat stadiums. They're very much, you change the colour of the seats and it's pretty much, it's not far off being the same. Whereas, you come to us and we've got one little stand and it's got wooden beams instead of seats, and then you go somewhere else and they're having a bit of a go that year, so you've got 200 proper seats, or you can go and stand and lean on the bar and drink your Bovril. That's what's so great about it all. And I think football wise, again, a much of a muchness to me. There's no major standout clubs that there is to be fearful of or anything like that, because everybody tends to just give it their all. And I think that's what is so appealing to a fan, is get down and watch your local club wherever it is, because there'll probably just be some guy who's been cutting the pitch, who's put the kits out, who's filled up the water bottles and everything else, and he'll be screaming at his team for 90 minutes just to give him everything that they've got. And those players will be honest lads who just work as hard as they possibly can to give the fans what they want, and everybody's striving for success. I don't think there's any team in our league that look at the league and go, right, well, let's not finish bottom this year. Everybody looks upwards, and then by about Christmas, you start changing your ambitions a little bit.
Do you think that's the difference between that kind of league a bit further down the pyramid to as you go further to the top? It's a bit more of a level playing field. You in the Premier League, you get your same top 4, 5, 6 really. When a team gets relegated from the Championship, they're pretty much odds on to go back up again into the following season. So do you think that's the excitement of non-league, is the fact that it is a bit more of a level playing field? It is more equal. Anybody can beat anybody else on the day.
Yeah, of course. I mean, even in just your short time in the league last year, I mean, going into every game, everybody's expecting Bury to win the game because they're big side and it's new and it's exciting and all the rest of it. And obviously, you saw the results from last year. You went to Prestwich and got beat. And, again, that's a shock for everybody. But then we look at that, myself, having been in that league, I know Prestwich are a good side, so it's not a surprise to us. But everybody else is thinking, hold on a minute, we're not meant to lose games. What's going on? And it's a bit of a reality check. Yeah. And like you said, we do the same in our league. We had a terrible run, before the lockdown. But 1874, a very strong side in our league, really, really up there. And we're 4-0 up after 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just like, most people will go, how on earth that happened? But if you've watched us for the last 18 months since I've been in charge, you know that we're a good side. You know that we can beat anybody. And it's all just comes down to consistency for all of the teams. And, even if you are one of the so-called top dogs in the league, you've got to be on your game every week, because anybody can turn you over. And it's not a surprise at all.
I think that's what you said there about, Prestwich beat us last season. We had a draw with Golker. It's not easy. It's not straightforward. Even the goals that we conceded, we've gone, some a lot of the times in matches we've gone a couple of goals down or whatever. So I think from the fans that have seen it, at close range, have gone, it's not just a pub league. It's not just actually these are athletes. These are people that are running for every ball. They're putting in for every tackle, and they're taking every chance that they can get.
Yeah, definitely. No, like I said, we are little Squires Gate. We've not got big crowds. We don't have big budgets. But, like somebody asked me not so long ago when I did a little thing for a magazine, we train on a Tuesday night. On a Wednesday, we'll be out watching another team in our division, someone who we're playing in the next week. We'll train again on the Thursday. We'll do all our analysis work on the Friday, ready for the game on the Saturday. We play the game on the Saturday. We watch the game back on a Sunday and start analysing, ready to go for the following week. We get whatever footage we can in from the previous to the next team that we're playing. And then Monday, we'll start setting up for Tuesday. And that's if we haven't got a game. It's a 7-day-a-week job. And, it's the managers or the players that think that they can just turn up and play a game of football. It's completely wrong. We put so much effort into this. Yeah. And I don't think people at the higher levels at times appreciate or understand that we're doing it the same as they are, just on a much smaller budget. And, a lot of the times, if you want to go and scout a game, you can't send your head scout. You've got to jump in the car and go yourself. So I just hope that we don't play Whitchurch too many times this season, because I don't get enough petrol money.
So you're in the league above us. You're in the Premier Division. What's the difference between the Premier and the Division 1 then? What would you say the standard is? Is there any difference between the two leagues, or is it just down to kind of like years gone by and who's managed to get promoted and stayed there? Is there any big kind of divide between those two divisions?
To be honest with you, I think one of the main things is the fact of obviously the promotion and relegation, with it only being one team, or over the last couple of years, sometimes it's been two go up. I think that's what brings it a lot closer together, because you've probably got maybe 6-7 teams in the division that you're currently in that would come into our division and then mix it in the top 10 quite easily. And then you've probably got 3 or 4 in our division. If they drop down, they'd probably be straight down the bottom end of your division. But because there's only either one going down or maybe 2 going down, you've got to be really bad if you're going to finish 20th out of 20, so 19 out of 20 is success if you don't want to go down. So I think that's where it bridges a little bit. And like we spoke before about, quite a few teams having a bit of a go. If you've got the 6 or 7 who are going to try and push for that one place, obviously it brings it a little bit closer. But I think when you get into the top sides in our division compared to maybe the bottom sides in the other division, I think the golfing class is quite big. But obviously, the only thing I can really match it up against is obviously our FA Cup game. Obviously we played on the BBC and we played Main Road, who were obviously they were Division 1 South, I think they were last year. And I think they're roughly about a mid-table side. And I wasn't too impressed with the performance from us, to be honest, on the day, but we've come out 5-0 winners. And again, I think it's just like any level of football. You take your chances, they come at the right time in games. And, I don't think there's an awful lot of luck involved in football. I think you create your own luck. And if you keep working at doing the right things, that's where they come from. So I think when we go back to the levels, I think maybe at times, you can see that there is a little bit of a difference, and you do have to up your level. I mean, I don't think you'd be able to keep the same squad to win Division 1 North and find yourself in the Evo Stick Premier in 2 or 3 years' time. Yeah. There's got to be a bit of tweaking and a bit more work involved.
And what's your hopes for the new season, Luke, with Squires Gate? What you're hoping to achieve over, hopefully we'll have a stress-free season going into 21-22. So what you're hoping to achieve with Squires Gate?
I think the main thing for us is that obviously we'll have a look at how the league is going to be structured. Obviously, depending on how many teams are going to go up, we'll assess whether we think that that's a realistic option for us. And then obviously we'll go out there and we'll work as hard as we possibly can to get as high up the league as we can. We believe in ourselves. We gave ourselves a lot of aims last year before obviously the COVID ended, and we believed in ourselves to be one of the top 3 sides to get promoted. We believe in the group that we've got, and we think that we play football the right way. And then we had a great pre-season. Like I said before, we played 10, 11 games pre-season. We beat sides like AFC Fylde, Curzon Ashton. We had a great pre-season, won all these games. And then the season came and we won 1 out of 8 or 1 out of 9 or whatever it was. And you're scratching your head wondering what's going on. But then you go back to the games and you lose 2-1 here and 3-2 there. And you're in the game the whole time. And the results just haven't gone right for you. And you start to wonder, what have you done wrong? But again, you know, it's difficult. It's difficult to know where your aims are going to be. I think it's a case of going out, being as honest as we can, and you know, maybe 10, 15 games into the season, let's see where we're sat, and let's see what's a realistic aim for us to push on to.
Looking forward, obviously, we've just talked about the new season there, Luke. We can announce that there is going to be a friendly between our 2 clubs. This is an exclusive for the Shaken Up show. So what can we expect from Squires Gate when we play you in a friendly?
Well, like I say, obviously last time we played Bury AFC in a game, it was obviously restricted to 300 fans. We're hoping that by the time the game comes around, which is at the moment, it's going to be the 26th of June, that we'll be going ahead with the fixture. We're hoping to invite as many fans as we can into the stadium, come and enjoy the facilities at Squires Gate, the family atmosphere and everything that we love to show off about ourselves. And then get yourself on the promenade and enjoy Blackpool for what it is.
Get some chips and a donkey ride.
Definitely.
If you had to ask you a question on the score prediction, what score prediction are you going to put it on?
Well, I'd like to think that we need to make up a bit of amends after last time. So, you know, we'll have to bridge that 6-0 at least. So I think if we could, you know, show a little bit of promises going into the season, I predict a nice 4-2 victory so that there's goals for the fans.
That's absolutely brilliant, Luke. Thank you so much for joining us today and giving us your take on the Northwest counties. And hopefully, Bury AFC will be joining you in that Premier Division soon. But until then, we'll see you for the friendly in the summer. So thank you very much, Luke, for joining us. And yeah, I'll take up your offer on those chips as well.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Nick. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Luke. Cheers, mate. Bye.
See you, mate.
A big thank you there to Luke Evans, the Squires Gate manager. Thanks very much, Luke. Don't forget, this is available as a podcast. You can get us on Apple, Spotify, and also on Acast. Don't forget, we are available on social media. Type in Bury AFC, just search it up, the little search thing, and then you can click something, and then there'll be a big loads of AFC stuff, and you'll see little funny memes. There's memes apparently on there, and there's a TikTok as well. There's TikTok. So if you like watching people run backwards to music with a caption, get on the TikTok. Everyone loves a TikTok. You can also like and subscribe our channel just down here. Click on the red button, and I think there's a bell or something that will let you know when there is new content. All this is all new to me, and I'm sure it's all new to some of you. So please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time on The Shaken Up Show, we'll see you soon. Bye.